notebook in here. I keep a journal. I've got like journals. One goes in the drawer after it's finished in another. I've been keeping a journal, seriously keeping a journal for I think about 6 years. And a lot of times out of my journal writing, it's not really quite a diary because I don't put in everything that happens every day or anything like that. A lot of times I'll just start writing something in the journal, and all of a sudden I'll realize that this is a poem, like that little poem about my father. Or like that really came, I think I was reading Thomas Hardy, I was reading Test of the D'Urberville, and at some point there was some portion about people going someplace at dawn. And all of a sudden I remembered two situations, one in France where my mother and I got up very early by moonlight to go and meet my father in Paris. We were staying in Normandy. And then I got this image of my father and I driving to Chicago. And I wrote both of them down just because I felt like it. I mean, they just seemed like groovy things. And then as I wrote the second one, I thought, gee, I think this could work into a short poem. And I just started screwing around with it after that. There's so many things that happen, sometimes you can't write them all, I spent a very weird day yesterday, and I just don't even know how to start organizing. I went to Tottenville, Staten Island, and that was a trip. So,
wow, see.
All right, because I'd sort of like to move around. Okay, I may just want to stand up periodically. Some of it's a little more conducive to that. Actually, as it's turning out, I'm at work on my second book, and I think the title so far is going to be called Walking in the Waters. Starting out with what may be, I may end up calling The Psychic Concerto, and moving through the waters, as it were, to who knows where. The first piece I'd like to read is a piece I just finished. And I call it a psychic meter reading. I got the idea of calling it a psychic meter reading from a fellow I used to go with years ago. It was a photographer. And he used to hold up a little, I think they're called light meters, and study it very carefully before he took a picture. And so I did the same thing off my head, taking all the imagery around this particular person, all the imagery that came to mind, and doing very careful reading on it. And it sort of strangely progressed through to a sort of conclusion. So this is a psychic meter reading on Fred. Fred, tall, husky, light brown hair that's rather long, glasses, squinting eyes, a massive brooding quality about him. It's early afternoon. I see us in the bedroom of his friend's apartment in the West Village. It's in one of the old buildings that hasn't been renovated yet. He's lying on the large double bed that takes up most of the room. The sheet is drawn up to the middle of his bare chest. His glasses are off, but he's still squinting. His shoulders look soft and round. He seems more vulnerable lying there than when he's dressed, almost like his big, brooding hulk is now attempting to be graceful and dainty. The window glass next to the bed is completely uncovered, and the sun shines in pale, mixed through the white clouded sky. Now we're at Dee Dee's apartment, high in the Sausalito Hills. It's late afternoon. Outside, the large darkening trees and sky. There are no lights on, and the room is heavily shadowed. It's chilly inside, although the polished blonde wood floors, the fluffy brown and white Peruvian rug, a book of Van Gogh prints, the smallness and tidiness, even sparseness of the place make it seem cozy. Fred is standing in front of the straw wicker chair, his hair falling sideways over his forehead. He has on a black jacket and black leather boots. I made a special point of bringing him to meet Dee Dee because he's a husky, sensitive artist, the sort of man she used to find fascinating and mysterious. I see him in German fields, tall grasses and wild shrubs that are green, but beginning to turn brittle and brown. It's afternoon, the same pale sun. He's wearing a worn-out black leather jacket that's hanging wide open. An outdoor cafe, San Miguel de Allende, the same open jacket over a black shirt. It's cocktail time, around 6:30, white cloudy daylight. He's slowly striding across the white painted brick terrace to join other American artists and would-be artists for drinks. They're waiting for him, feel their gathering incomplete without him, seem to be in awe of his sensitive talent and brooding apartness. His attention focuses particularly on a young woman painter who teaches in one of the city's art schools. They made love together for the first time the evening before, and although he always meets this same little crowd every day, this time he feels that heart-quickening acceleration of secrecy, apprehension, and desire. A large map of the world, the deep blue Southwest Pacific, the green island of Borneo, is replaced by jungle brush. It's early evening, the last traces of yellow sun. The air is thick and wet. White belted pants and naked chest, Fred's huge frame looms up in front of the foliage. San Francisco, dusk. We're walking down Columbus toward Chinatown for a late dinner. I feel proud walking with him because he seems very manly. A trace of the hippie, but too mature and individualistic to belong to any one group. I've got an intriguing catch on my arm, and I want all the people on the street to notice. As we turn into the neon flood of Chinatown, I begin to feel uneasy, like a blunt, natural, totally unexotic woman is forcing her way through my streamlined appearance and chatter. Although he gives the impression of being experienced and wise, I don't feel at all comforted or protected with him. Long hair hanging in my face, eyeliner, sexy wet lipstick, a light blue sweater laced half open down my chest. I think he really believes I am what I seem, and this frightens me. We're at his friend's apartment again, bright filtered daylight. I'm standing naked near the corner of the bed. I have the disturbing sense that I'm gradually being submerged in my awkward fleshy body, and I start feeling silly and constrained. A cool, cloudy afternoon. I'm alone now, walking down Oak to Ernie's house, the long gray concrete sidewalk, large trees and soft grass in the panhandle across the street. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? If you want somebody to love, then go and find somebody to love. Dino and Carlos, dim twinkling lights. I used to stand in front of the jukebox, snapping my fingers and shaking my hips. Tall, husky, silver hair and mustache. Brian's still tending bar there, the huge mural he painted on the wall behind him. He has a rough Gauguin type quality about him. Makes me think of him traveling to the Antilles on steamers, his big sensitive hulk pacing the deck. I'm in San Francisco for a festival of the arts. Gave a reading in Golden Gate Park earlier in the day, and I'm scheduled to give another one at Dino and Carlos this evening. I came in early for a glass of sherry, and with the hope that Brian will find me interesting enough to make love with. Although people in the bar come over to compliment my work and talk about poetry, I still feel nervous and unsatisfied. I'm afraid he'll think I'm just as childish and immature as I was when I first met him there 5 years ago. Now it's night, late, after my reading, deserted boutiques, a few lights from the intimate Italian restaurants. We're holding hands, walking to his apartment on Upper Grant. I feel at ease with him. I know he knows a lot about women. When we get to his living room, he kisses me, reassuring me that I can calm down and have a warm, relaxed evening of love. Ernie's bedroom, the walls lined with finished canvases, a half-finished painting of a woman with a troubled mouth on the easel across the room. I'm lying in his bed with the covers around me, my notebook across my knees. I laugh and tell him that I'm so comfortable lying there, I could go on and do psychic meter readings all day. Back at Broadway Charlie's, sitting in front of the bar, Fred and I are talking intensely. The jukebox is playing a rock tune with a lot of bottom in it. I turn to him with sultry eyes. My hair falls toward my face. The truth of the matter is, I really want to have a wild time. I want to have some fun.